Good morning. Okay, so we're here on a Sunday morning with my lovely friend Lorna, and we have both recently discovered the gorgeous Tropic skincare range, completely separately. I got recommended it by a friend, and Lorna also got recommended it by someone else. So we've completely fallen in love with the products, and they've really helped our skin look amazing. But Lorna, you've actually just become an ambassador, haven't you?
Yeah, I loved it so much. When I came back from Spain, my skin was so dry. So I met Geraldine.
Yes.
And I borrowed the borrow box, which was amazing. And I didn't want to give it back. So, and then I had a chat with her, and I'm now an ambassador, which is very exciting. And I've been using the skincare for 5 weeks, and my skin is just so much better.
Yeah, what you don't realise is Lorna's actually 64.
I feel it, but yeah.
How old are you?
45.
45? I'm 44. There we go. So here we go. So should we just crack on?
Yeah.
So first, what I thought I'd do first, guys, so just to explain who I am actually a hair and makeup artist. Lorna's actually a hairdresser. But what we thought would be really good, because I, in my professional kit, tend to have a lot of MAC. I have NARS, I have Charlotte Tilbury, Bobbi Brown, and I haven't used the Tropic makeup at all. I don't know what it's going to be like. On myself, I've been using Bare Minerals, which I think has got a similar ethos in that it's only got 5 key ingredients, and it's meant to be very good for you and natural. So it'd be interesting to see how that compares to the Tropic range.
Which is 100% natural and all naturally derived. And that's why I've got into Tropic. It's 100% natural, which I only put on my skin now. Product, skincare and makeup, and all the skin range bath oils. It's amazing stuff.
So from a makeup perspective, from myself, I'm not being paid by Tropic to do this. We've been lent the products by Geraldine, the local ambassador, and I'm going to apply them as I would my products in my kit, and we're just going to see how they look on Lorna, and I will talk as I do it to sort of see how, you know, whether I like the product, how it goes on, and how to apply it as well, so you can judge for yourselves what you think. But as Lorna said, what we're going to start by doing is just making sure Lorna's got a really clean face, as you would do when you're applying your makeup. So Lorna's going to start just with doing an exfoliation.
Yeah, so this is Face Smooth, and this is your exfoliator, and you would use this maybe once or twice a week, and this will take all the dirt and impurities off your skin and give you back to a sort of blank canvas before you cleanse, tone and moisturise. A little bit of water, and it's got bamboo silica in it, which is amazing, tiny little biodegradable stuff.
So does the silica come out of the bamboo then?
Yes.
Okay.
You just massage it all around. You can actually do this in the shower as well. And now we would use the smoothing cleanser.
I'll be your glamorous assistant again.
You can, and the bamboo organic cloth, which is gorgeous. We're going to just use 2 pumps, that's why I find that's enough. Oh, I love the smell. Eucalyptus is a hero ingredient in this.
Oh yeah, that is lovely.
And just a little bit of water.
I've actually got this on order, haven't I?
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I'll be able to start using it soon. Those of you that know me, that see me at the school run, I will gradually start to improve over the next few months as I start to use more of these products.
And then
hopefully.
You get your bamboo cloth. Oh, nice and warm, hot. Nice and hot. And then this will open up all your pores and your neck. So you get that nice and hot.
And your décolletage?
Yes. Oh, I love that. And you would cleanse, tone and moisturise morning and night.
Okay, so this is the toner. I haven't used this Tropic toner, so what I'm doing is as I run out of my products, I'm replacing them with Tropic, but it seems to me quite similar in its ethos to other products that I've used, where you spray it on. So Lorna, if you want to close for me. And you don't actually wipe it off, you leave it on for the skin to absorb. I probably used too much there, didn't I?
Probably, only putting two pumps, but it's full of vitamin C and it brings the skin back to the pH level.
So it'd be interesting to know if you think this is the wrong thing to do, but with other ones that I use like that, what I do is I press it just around areas where you really want it to absorb, like the eye area around the nose. So you're not wiping it off, you're just pressing it into the skin. I don't know whether Susie Ma would disagree with that, but that's what I do with other toners, just to make sure it's really absorbed. And the other top tip I would say when you're doing your makeup is do your toning and your moisturising, then go and have a cup of tea, have your breakfast, whatever, and come back and do your makeup, because it's really good to let the moisturiser sink into your skin and absorb it before you then go in with makeup. That is my top tip of the day. So now we're going to do moisturiser. How many pumps would you say, Lauren?
Just 2.
2, yeah. Okay.
I mean, with Tropic skincare, they say 2 to 4 pumps. I find if you've got dry skin, maybe use a tiny bit more. Oily skin, a little bit less.
So what I'm doing is starting from the chin. I think if you wanted to do the décolletage, you probably need another pump, but I'll start from the neck and the chin area. And you just go up in upward motions. I am actually going to use a couple more pumps, if you don't mind, Lorna, just because it's quite hot in here today. And so your skin's feeling a little bit on the dry side, so I'm just going to put an extra couple of pumps, just because it will really help. Particularly, we've got some filming lights on, so it just makes the atmosphere a little bit more humid. So with mineral makeup, it's always really important to have a really lovely moisturised face. Now this I have got, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I love that.
Particularly if you've got really puffy eyes when you wake up in the morning. It's really cooling, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great for dark circles. It's got arnica in, so that's its hero ingredient in there. And just
I thought it was interesting that it had arnica, because obviously arnica you associate with putting on bruises.
Yeah, but it takes the darkness away.
Yeah, exactly, and it kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you're puffy, that's a bit like a bruise, isn't it? So
I've definitely in the 5 weeks I've been using Tropic, seen a difference in the darkness under my eyes.
So as Geraldine beautifully put it, we'll play the piano just to let that go in. So we're going to take a break in filming now, because I'm just going to let that absorb a little bit into Lorna's skin, probably just for a couple of minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll start with the makeup application. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to use is the Tropic Pure Effects Beauty Booster, which for me is going to be like a primer, but it also acts as a serum to the skin, and it just creates a really nice base for us to then go in with our mineral powder foundation. It's got an SPF of 35 in it, which is really good. The only thing I would say, and again, I'd be really interested to know what Susie Ma thinks, they did an experiment over the summer where they said that actually having SPF in makeup products is not worth doing, because for you to actually get the SPF out of it, you'd have to wear like literally huge amounts and smother your face in it, so you're better off just using sun cream. However, it's an added bonus that it's in there, and it would offer some protection even if it's not the full 35.
Because we don't put it in any of the Tropic skincare, because obviously the skincare gets absorbed.
Yes, exactly.
So it's a waste of time.
So it's good to have it in there. They come in 6 colours. It's £22, I think. I'll double check that. Yes, it's £22, 6 colours. It's award winning. The colour I'm going to use on Lorna is Soft Honey, because she's got quite a warm skin tone. You can get makeup brushes that come with the Tropic range that are really lovely bamboo brushes. The ones that I've got here, just to show you what they're like, obviously very in fitting with the Tropic range. But for the purposes of today, I'm going to use this one, which is actually a Tarte makeup brush, who actually also are vegan. And I really just like the application when you're using a primer. So I just have a really small amount, you can see that on the back of my hand. And I'm just going to pick that up with a brush, like that. And then buff that into Lorna's skin. First of all, just distributing the product in the main areas where you want that serum to work, and then just blending that out in circular motions. And then when there's not as much product left on the brush, I just take a little bit over the eyelids and just work that down into the chin area, to the ears, into the hairline, just so you know you've got all those lovely ingredients working in there. Okay, so now we're going to go in with a mineral foundation. I'm actually using a Bare Minerals foundation brush. I keep talking about Susie, and if you're watching this, you're probably thinking, who's Susie? She's the founder of Tropics. She was, did she win The Apprentice in 2011?
No,
she was just in The Apprentice, wasn't she?
She came about third.
She came about third, but yeah, so she's the founder of the company, and she didn't win The Apprentice, but what she did, which was very smart, is she sent some products to Sir Alan Sugar's wife, or Lord Sugar, sorry, not Sir Alan, and obviously she loved the products. So that's how Alan Sugar got involved, and they own the company 50-50. So yeah, if I look at Susie's brush, I'm guessing she would use probably this big fluffy one to apply the foundation, which would probably be fabulous. But the reason I like the Bare Minerals one is you've got a really nice well that holds onto the product, and then you've got that bit to buff it out with. But as I say, you can use the Tropic one, but I'm going to use the one I'm used to. So what you do, you get the product, you tap some out into your lid. You don't need much, a little goes a long way. So you can see there's that much product in there. You get your brush, you swirl it round so it goes into the bristles, tap off the excess, and then you just apply in circular motions and really buff that into the skin. A makeup artist that I've learned a lot from is called SJ, and one of the things she told me as a top tip, so I'm just doing one more lidful there, is when you're applying mineral makeup, is in your head sing happy birthday and sing it twice, and that's how long you need to buff the minerals into your skin. The more that you buff it in, the more the minerals open up and absorb and provide that amazing coverage. So you can see it's not, it looks really natural. Lorna doesn't look like she's wearing loads of makeup, but it just gives a really lovely, flawless. And I have to say, comparing that to Bare Minerals, which is the other mineral makeup I work with, I think that's really good. I wouldn't personally know the difference. This has also got an SPF of 25 in it. So the great thing about this is it's got vitamin E and olive leaf extracts, as well as other gorgeous ingredients. So again, like the serum, it's got really lovely active skincare ingredients in it to really help treat the skin, as well as obviously provide a flawless foundation. Next, I am going to move on to the cream concealer. I'm going to use a couple of colours on Lorna, just because we've got the kit. I would say Lorna is the light, but she's also got some quite dark skin tones around the edge of her face. So I'm going to use the light for just a little bit around under her eyes, just to brighten that area up. And then I'll just have a look and see if there are any blemishes, in which case I would use the medium. So I'm just going to use a little bit on my finger like that. It's really creamy actually. And this is £22. So Lorna, if you want to look up for me. And just put that into the skin. Again, a little goes a long way. I like using my fingers to apply makeup. Obviously always make sure that you've got clean hands. But I find that the warmth of my fingers really helps with the products and get them absorbed. Again, this has got arnica in it, and it's enriched with oat oil, so it really helps fight and calm any redness, any inflammation that you might have. And I'm just using some of the medium there, just at the edge of Lorna's eye, just because there's a little bit of darkness there, so it just brightens that up. So just really, really tiny amounts on my finger. And I'm going to take a very, very small amount over the eyelid, which is going to act as my primer for when we put on our mineral eyeshadow. So it just creates a really nice base for the mineral pigment in the eyeshadow to adhere to. And then really, I mean, Lorna's skin is gorgeous. She hasn't got any blemishes. But, you know, if I look at Lorna's face and I see any areas where perhaps there's some darkness, maybe just around the nose area, sometimes it's nice to put a little bit of light just around there. And I'm just going to take my brush just to really make sure that that's blended into the skin. Okay, so next I'm going to use the perfecting powder. Looks very similar to the mineral foundation, same principle, a little bit into your lid, a little bit goes a long way. swirl your brush, tap, and again you just buff that into the skin. And what the perfecting product does is it just kind of seals everything in, particularly obviously we've just gone in there with the concealer, so you're just making sure that all of that is going to stay in place and last you the whole day. I'm going to just make sure I get everything out of that lid. I don't think we need any more actually. And just again in buffing circular motions all around Lorna's face, taking it to the ears, down the neck, and just into the hairline, just so it's all really, really well blended. Over the eyes, over the lips. And there we go. So next I'm going to go in with a little bit of warmth onto Lorna's face, just to warm her complexion up a little bit. This lovely warm mineral pigment is £18. It's got a Care Berry and guarana seed in it, so again lots of skincare products in it to treat the skin. I'm just going to buff that lightly all over Lorna's face and down to the neck, blend that into the décolletage area, around the ears, just so you get no harsh lines. There we go. So now we're going to use the award-winning Sculpt palette. So you've got a bronzer in here, you've got a blush, and then you've got a highlighter. I'm going to start off using the bronze, just a tiny bit on my brush, shake off the excess. This is one of the Tropic range brushes. It's got a really nice angle to it, so you can get into the cheekbones. And I'm going to do a little bit of contouring, nothing too crazy Kim Kardashian style-y, but just a little bit to bring out Lorna's cheekbones. So I'm just going to take this just below the cheekbone. I don't know if you can zoom in a little bit. Camera operator, otherwise known as my husband Martin. And a good technique is the number 3 or a backwards E. Same on the other side. An E or a number 3. A little bit under the chin, a little bit either side of the nose, and into the hairline. And you can keep going with this and building it up until you feel you've kind of got the definition you're looking for. So because Lorna's got quite a warm skin, I'm actually using quite a lot on Lorna, whereas on somebody like myself, I've got quite a cool, pale skin tone. I really wouldn't need very much. So you have to just kind of adapt it for your own skin tones. So I'm really pinching the brush to get a really fine line and just really defining that under Lorna's cheekbones. Next I'm going to go in with a coral blush, which is this colour.
Is that a special brush?
Well, this is really good, this contour, for getting in there.
Okay.
For the blusher one, I'm now going to use just a nice big fluffy brush. Dab that into the product. Again, this is a Tropic brush. Shake off any excess. And I'm just going to press that in to the apples of the cheeks. A lot of the time with blusher, I see people doing this. That's not really doing anything because it's not going to stay to the skin. So you press the pigment into the brush and you press that into the cheeks, onto the. If you're not sure about the apples, Lorna, if you smile for me, the apples are the fleshy bit. And actually, I like to start the blush just a little bit off centre, sort of here, so you don't look too Aunt Sally-ish. Okay, so that's the blush. And then lastly, we're going to go in with the highlighter. And this is my own brush, it's a fan brush. I don't think Tropics do a fan brush at the moment, but it would be great if they did, because I really like being able to just brush the highlighter onto the fan and then just take that along any areas where light would naturally hit. So above the brows, down the centre of the nose, along those cheekbones, just below the brows. And that just gives a really nice subtle glow. Okay, so now we're going to use the brow palette. I would normally do brows freehand because I'm a makeup artist, but don't panic if you're not a makeup artist, because Tropic actually provide these really lovely templates that you can use. So I'll do one with Lorna just freehand, and I'll do one with the template so you can kind of see the difference. I think the brow palette on its own is £18, but if you want to get it with the stencil, it's 28. Is that right,
Yeah.
Lorna? And again, really lovely skincare ingredients. You've got vitamin E, you've got coconut oil, you've got almond oil, and it comes in 3 colours, so for all skin tones. So I've got this one in the taupe, and the good thing about this is you can build it up and make it as pigmented or as natural as you want to. So I'm going to take the stencil, I don't know if you can zoom in a bit here, Martin. I'm going to place that over Lorna's brow, and then a bit like you did as a child, if you ever did that, when you're doing your painting or when you buff through a stencil, you just really just work that product in all of the hair area. I'll take that away. You've got a really lovely shape. So it'll be interesting to see what you think, because I'll do the other brow freehand and you can see which one you prefer at the end. But as you can see, if you haven't got a steady hand, you don't need it because you've got the template there. And also, if you don't have many brow hairs, again, because this is quite heavily pigmented, you can use it on skin where there isn't any brow. So just here you can see Lorna doesn't have a brow, it sort of finishes just here. If I wanted to take that brow just to the end there where there isn't any hair, you can do that. And you would just take that pigment down a little bit and then you just blend that in with the brush. So it looks really natural. So next we're going to do eyeshadow. I should have said at the beginning actually, I'm going to do a very natural look on Lorna today. So this would be like, you know, just no makeup, which I think is what we all want to achieve in the day. Just looking fabulous and looking like we've just woken up like this. Tropics do 4 shades of eyeshadow. The one that I've chosen today is Brown Eyed Girl. So it's just a very natural taupey range, which is ideal for the day. In terms of a transition shade, which is the shade you want to start with, and you need to start in the socket area of the eye. Just going to take a very loose brush, pick up a little bit of pigment, tap off the excess, and then just press that in to the socket area of Lorna's eyes. And when I say transition colour, what that means is that this will be the colour that links the colour on the mobile lid to the colour that I'll use on the brow bone, so that you don't get any harsh lines, because you just want everything to look really, really natural. As I said, no makeup, just naturally gorgeous. Woke up looking like this. Okay, on the mobile lid, I'm going to take a smaller brush and I'm going to use this really lovely sort of sparkly cappuccino-y shade, and I'm just going to press that into the eyelids. And take that up to the socket line and blend that into the shadow that I just put there. Tap off the excess, press that into the eyelids and blend that into the socket line. It's quite heavily pigmented, I'm finding actually, so I would say a little goes a long way. I probably shouldn't have used quite that much, but we'll go with it, we won't worry. Okay, and then finally I'm going to use the highlighter, the more whitey colour. You really should use a clean brush for this, but I'll just use the same one. Just brush off the excess, pick up that, and then just go below the brow area just to really highlight that. So if you want to create height, you use a lighter colour, and if you want to create depth, use a darker colour. So in the socket line, you want to make your eyes look really big, so you want that to be dark, so it looks recessed. You want your eyes to look really bright and wide, so you want this area to look nice and light. Hopefully that makes sense. And then using a clean brush, I'm just going to buff over that whole area, just so that it's all really, really nicely blended and natural looking. So this palette is £18, and again, lovely ingredients: vitamin E, chamomile, oils. You want to open for me, Lorna? So as you can see, just a really nice natural eye, doesn't look too made up. Okay, so next I'm going to do eyeliner. Now, because we're going for the no makeup look, I'm going to use some of the eyeshadow again, just to create a really nice natural eyeline. So I'm going to use the really tiny Tropic eyeliner brush. I've wet it ever so slightly, just so it's slightly damp, just so you can get more of a stronger line. If you ever want to create a strong line with your eyeshadow, if you wet the brush, it just gives you more of an eyeliner effect. So Lorna, if you close for me, and I'm just going to take that into the lashes so that you're taking it literally just above the lash line but also into the lashes. If you look up for me, Lorna, and then just a little bit along those lower lashes. You can close again now, lovely. And then what's left on my brush, I'm just going to take into that kind of C shape there in Lorna's socket line, just to give a little bit more definition and create that really nice almond shape. That is the shape that we really want all of our eyes to look, because it just makes your eyes look bigger. And I'm just really blending that through. I'm going to do the same on the other eye. So again, really pressing that into where the lashes join the eyelid, and then just slightly above it. Out into a little flick, and then again into that C shape with what's remaining on my brush, and blending that round. And then if you want to look up for me, Lorna, just taking a little bit under that eye area. Next, we're going to use some eyeliner, which is going to be fun because Lorna's very blinky. It doesn't really like the people doing her eyeliner, so we'll give it a whirl and see how it goes. So they do 3 shades. They do noir, black, and slate and brown. So I'm going to use the noir, but I'm just going to do it into the top waterline of, well, we'll try anyway. We'll see how we get on with Lorna. Just literally, if I lift Lorna's eyelid up, I'm going to do it just along this bit here, underneath the lashes. And what that does is just make your eyelashes look really thick. So I'm going to get my pencil. It twists up, so you can create a bit more length if you want to. And then holding Lorna's eyelid up as hard as I can, because she's desperately trying to blink, I'm just going to line that lash line. There we go, that's done. And hopefully, if you can zoom in, Martin, you can really see the difference and how thick that makes Lorna's lashes look. And again, it doesn't look like she's wearing any eyeliner at all. It just looks really natural. If you want to, you can, if you look up for me, Lorna, you can just take a little bit under the eye. For us older people, I would say 40 onwards, I always try not to go too far into the corner of my eye. I generally try and fade out once I get to the pupil. So it just fades to nothing, because if you take the eyeliner right to the centre of the eye, it can make your eyes look a bit small. Which when your eye, if you want to close for me, Lorna, I'm just going to put a little bit more just on top of the lash line. Just a teeny bit. It's still going to look really natural, but just to give a little bit more definition for the purposes of the video. And then going back in with my eyeliner brush, making sure that that's really, really nicely blended, so that you don't suddenly see that the eyeliner stops. It just blends to nothing. Smoking that out, and then if you want to close, Lorna, and then just going over the eyeliner I've just done on the top there, and just making sure that it's all really nicely blended. No harsh lines. Look up for me, Lorna. And again, just taking that to nothing. Gorgeous. Okay, so next we're going to use what they call the fixing gel. So there's 3 steps to the mascara that Tropic do. The first step is using the fixing gel first. So I'm using a disposable wand because this is part of a kit that Lorna shows her clients. If you want to look down, Lorna, for me, that's perfect. Brushing it through. It does have colour on it, it's not transparent. And I'm just taking that up the base of the lashes and doing like a zigzag at the base of the lashes. And same on the other eye. Brushing that all the way through, and then doing a little zigzag at the base. If you've got really long lashes, you might want to curl them first before you do this bit, just so that they curl upwards and make your lashes look really nice and long. Then if you look up for me, Lorna, I'm just going to take a tiny bit onto Lorna's lower lashes. So So that's step 1, fixing gel. Next, we're going to go in with the fibres, and this is the magic bit. So these are tiny little fibres that adhere to the lashes. Can you remember off the top of your head how much this is, Long?
No.
No. We'll have that in. So the cost of the 2 products together is £25. The fixing gel on its own is £18, and the fibres are £10. And then, to seal that, you go back over with your first fixing gel wand, just to seal all of that in, and you just do a really light coat. But again, if you like a really lovely false effect, you can go as heavy as you want, but because we're making this nice and natural, we're just going to do a little light coat, and that will just seal the fibres onto the lashes so that they don't fall off. I don't know if you can zoom in, Martin, just to show the difference that's made to Lorna's eyelashes. If you want to open for me, Lorna's quite blinky, so it's quite hard to do her lower lashes. I'm just trying to put a little bit on her lower lashes. Try and look at the ceiling, try and keep those eyes open, Lorna. You can do it. Amazing. So we'll just clean up this bit that's dropped, one of the fibres that's dropped. And when you've done it, if you're a bit worried that it looks a little bit cakey in areas like this lash here, just pull that off, either with your fingers, or you can take a little lash comb and just comb that through. So moving on to lips, I'm going to start with a lip liner, quite a natural one because we're going for that no makeup looks. So what I'm going to do when you do it on someone else, because you can't feel the edges, is I will start at the Cupid's bow and draw downwards from the top of that arch, and then I follow the trace of the lip from the corners, because what you don't want to do is start a really harsh line at the edge of the lip. So you just want to start really gradually taking that to a more defined line at the top, and on the bottom I'm going to start in the centre and just work my way up, but again sort of blend that to nothing. And the reason you line your lips, particularly with us older mums and ladies, is it just stops the lip product from bleeding. It's not something I always do, I have to be honest, but time permitting, if I have time, I will do it. So the next thing I'm going to do is lipstick. This colour is In Bloom. Really, really creamy, actually, their lipsticks. They've got jojoba, avocado, camellia and argan oils in them. Did I say that all right? There we go. This one's £14, they're all £14. They do lots and lots of different shades. So again, this is just very natural taupey shade to go with Lorna's warm skin tone. And I'm not using too much actually because they're quite pigmented. So I'm using a teeny bit and just working that in. Does that feel really creamy, Lorna? Because it looks really creamy. Nice. So what you can do, you don't have to, once you've got your lipstick on, you can go in with a little bit of gloss on top. I love wearing gloss. They do some really lovely lip glazes at Tropic. This one is Candy Pop. So just to pinky it up a little bit, I'm just going to go in, just take that and just blot it onto the lips, just to give it a little bit of a pinky shade. And then my secret little trick, I just put a teeny bit on the cheeks and a teeny bit in the socket line. Just the tiniest amount, and then because I like working with my fingers, just really blend that in really lightly. And I just find that by doing that, it all just joins all the makeup together. But again, just looks really, really soft.
And
natural, yeah. So the lip glaze, I should say, is also £14. Has wild mango butter, strawberry extracts and vitamin E. So basically I could eat you or lick you at this point, Lorna. The thing I'm going to do is the highlighter product. The shade I'm using on Lorna is Sunlight because, as I keep saying, she's more of a warm beigey tone. This one suits Lorna's skin tone, but there is more of a pinkier shade for those of you that are more my skin tone, which is more of a cool shade. So I like using my fingers. I'm just going to use my fingers, pat it onto my ring finger and just take that down the areas where light would hit, just to produce a really, really lovely subtle glow. A little bit above the Cupid's bow, teeny bit above the brow bone, and down the nose area. A little bit below the brow. And you can just build that up. It's just really, really soft and subtle. So this is £18, and it's got vitamin E and coconut oil, which you can really feel when you put it on. It's a really, really lovely product. Now, because Lorna and I are both at a stage in our lives where we get a little bit hot here and there, I'm just going to go back over one more time with the Soft Focus Perfecting Powder, just to make sure that all of that really stays in place. So just a final, very light buff. And as I say, it's quite hot because we've got the studio lights on, just so you can really see. And the final thing that I forgot to show you, which I really, really want to show you because it is so amazing, is in the brow palette, as well as the pigment colour for doing the brows, there is this really amazing highlighter. If you haven't got time to do all the kind of eyeshadow, you can just take it over the eyelid and it looks absolutely stunning. But I'm just going to show you the difference it makes. I'm just going to take it under the brow bone, and I'm not going to put powder over the top of this because I think it looks really nice to have that glossy sheen on the eye. And I'm going to put a little bit onto the mobile lid just to give that really nice natural sheen. And the teeniest amount on the cheekbone. And then if you can zoom in on that, Martin, I don't know if you can see with the light the difference that makes. I don't know how well that's coming out on camera, but it just looks so pretty. And the other thing you can do to really make the eyes pop, just put a little bit on a brush, take it into the corners of the eyes, and it just really, really, and look up for me, Lorna, and take it just under there as well, just blend that out, and it just makes your eyes look so nice and bright. And again, you can just do it above the Cupid's bow, a little bit down the centre of the nose, and that's lovely. And then one last buff. And there we are, a really lovely, natural, no makeup look. You zoom in, Martin?
Can I look? Ooh, love it.
Yeah? You happy?
Good. All ready for Tesco's?
Yeah. So this is lovely Lorna's finished look, and I promise you there are no filters on these photographs. This is as Lorna looked, which you can see in the final picture of me and her together, because there are certainly no filters on me. So it's really natural, everyday makeup. Something I forgot to say, which I do like about Tropic, is that they do offer a 30-day money-back guarantee if you don't like their products. And when you order their products, they take about a couple of weeks to make because they are made fresh. So let me know what you think of the products and whether you like them. I'd be interested to know your feedback. And thanks for watching.